Could you talk the other thing that was different about 94 and now, I think it's the Contract of America, which was really, it was, you know, it really gave some architecture to your campaign to take back the House. We were sort of told that this campaign was going to be about the economy, that it was going to be about tax cuts, that it was, but in fact, it has been a pretty issue-free campaign. I just got off an airplane from Miami, where last night I was at the governor's debate. It was just two guys attacking each other for an hour. It does seem like, especially as we come to the end of this campaign, it's become all about, you know, you treated Kavanaugh horribly and we'll keep a check on Trump. Is this a healthy way to conduct a campaign? Do you feel that it...
I mean, it's not the way I would conduct a campaign, because I think if we had run a negative campaign in 94, we'd have gained 30 or 35 seats, but we'd never have gotten a majority. I think you have to have some positive system around which you can get people's attention that gives them a sense of hope for the future if you're going to build the kind of momentum you need to actually become a majority.
So what do you think has been the problem that has prevented this campaign? I mean, as much as we hear, you know, that this is going to be the week that this party is going to talk about that issue or this party is going to talk about this issue, every single week seems to devolve into this kind of fighting.
I think that we live in the age of the Kardashians, and that you get up every morning and something happens. And then you get up the next morning and something happens, and it's just unbelievable. I think you can, when you see Trump on occasion, like arguing for a middle-class tax cut, and you see pieces that are rolled out here and there. You saw the Democrats made a real run for a while at sort of a Medicare for everyone, and that looked like it was almost going to take off until people started looking at it, and they've since backed off because it's not very defensible. But I think that it's really, I don't want to sound self-serving, but it is really hard to come up with 5 or 10 big ideas and hammer them out and get 200 and some people in our case, we got something like 400 people who were candidates to sign on to them. And most of the time, people just get too tired in both parties. It's just easier to be in the Kardashian tradition of, you know, go out and get in a fist fight.
So you just don't think there's any way back?
Oh, sure. I mean, eventually, I mean, first of all, while people didn't particularly want to admit it, Trump actually ran a pretty issue-oriented campaign in 2016. It was just issues that the establishment didn't like. But Trump was pretty clear about his view of the war. He's pretty clear about his view of trade policy. He's pretty clear about his desire to get economic growth. He's pretty clear about the kind of judges he would appoint. And on almost all the things he actually campaigned on, his administration has implemented what he said. So in that sense, I think Trump, much, much more than Hillary, actually was giving people a sense of what you want to go. I was in the room when they first discussed getting 10 names for the Supreme Court as a way of getting people to understand how serious he was. And the people who were doing that were really first-class national people who understood exactly what to do. And I think in that sense you'd find the challenge with Trump is this is a good issue, this is a good issue, this is a good issue, and here's the noise. And the noise very often drowns the good issue, so you can't quite remember what the good issue was in between the noise.
Have you talked to him about that?
Sure.
And what does he say?
He loves what he does.
Okay.
I mean, to be honest for a second, to be fair to him, you show up someplace with 25, 30, 35,000 people. They're all jumping up and down screaming. You walk out on the stage, they jump up and down and scream more. You feel pretty good about yourself. I mean, you don't feel like, gee, I think I'll go back and get coached. And you sure don't say, I think I'll call Newt and ask Newt to coach me because, you know, I remember when he used to get 35,000 people. I never got 35,000 people. I'd have been president if I'd gotten 35. You know, so I think Trump, in a sense, is. Somebody said one time it's very hard to get somebody in their 70s to learn a new golf swing. And I think that Trump has, in his mind, a really successful system that has worked very well for him.